Today we wanted to talk to you about how moving abroad changes us.
Yeah, and how it can change you.
So let's begin.
So moving abroad is a lot different than going on a vacation. When you're on vacation, one, you're normally staying at nice places and you have a schedule packed of events and things to do. But when you live someplace, everything slows down. Now, you don't have an end date on that vacation. Now you're staying there pretty much indefinitely.
And also, when you go on a vacation, you have that in the back of your mind. You're going back to your routine. You're going back to your home. Okay? So moving abroad, as we said, is very, very different.
Yeah, it does. You're relocating your home is what you're doing.
So when you leave your home, when you leave that place that maybe you knew for your entire life, it's something that changes you in the sense that something comes unglued inside. You know, you're uprooting everything you knew. You're uprooting yourself from that and going to a new place.
Yeah, like you're really stepping outside of your comfort zone. If you think about it, you know, you might have a routine where you go get the coffee from the same place and you go to work and you talk to your friends and all these activities that you have planned, subconsciously or not. Well, when you move abroad, all that changes and it can have an effect on you.
So cutting that umbilical cord, basically, it can have some good effects and maybe some that are not so good or even bad.
Yeah.
So let's begin with the good ones. Experiencing new things, okay? From food, maybe food that you never tried before, to cultural differences. For example, you know, how they celebrate a typical holiday to how they eat a typical dish.
Yeah, or especially combine the two. What are they eating on a holiday versus to what you're used to eating at your home on a holiday? Or they don't celebrate the holiday at all, like Thanksgiving. You know, you live in Europe, unless you have your own little Thanksgiving thing, no one celebrates that here. So, you know.
A lot of people, especially like for Americans, the 4th of July, Thanksgiving, things like that you are used to that date, you know, it's another day.
Yeah, another day here.
But I will say that Black Friday becoming a thing worldwide.
Yeah, it's
but
everywhere.
Know.
And depending on where you're at, it lasts more than just a weekend.
Yeah. Another good aspect is learning a new language. Or even if you learn just a couple of words, it's still, you know, that challenge of learning and communicating and you know, the happiness that becomes with the fact that, oh man, I was able to order a meal in that language.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And you don't have to master it. I mean, just even the struggles of learning a new language is really opening your mind up. It's a good thing for your mind to learn another language.
Speaking of opening your mind, one of the good things is overcoming certain stereotypes or, you know, images that we have maybe embedded in our heads from the media or movies or things like that. So that's also a good thing.
Yeah, you get to see the world as it is and not hearing about it through somebody else's eyes or interpretation. I would say that maybe not a good thing is being homesick. It does happen. You do get homesick, and it's natural, you know. Especially, it's nice to have a partner with you, but if you're single and you move abroad, you need to think about it. Yeah, you need to think about you're going to get homesick and you're going to get lonely at times, and that's natural. Another bad thing is, and maybe it's not so bad, just depending on how you look at it, is there's a disconnect between you and the community that you live in. Now, you can always become a member of that community and develop bonds and friendships, but you're always going to be an outsider to a certain level. To a certain level, it's still you're on the outside. And you know what? As I get older, sometimes that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to not have to debate anybody about politics. It's not a bad thing to just observe what's going on around you. I enjoy living in countries and watching how people do their day-to-day lives and the little things that they do that are different than the customs and stuff that we do back in the States.
Yes, and that's one of the good things, you know, the differences in upbringings. What's important for one side is not important for another. It's very eye-opening.
Yeah, it's very eye-opening. you realize in some ways how big the world is, but in other ways how close, how small it is. You know, we all wake up, we all eat, sleep, and, you know,
Everything. The
So
same thing. Yes.
it's interesting to see how people just have different variations of life. With that sense of disconnect, you know, not being part of the community, no matter how much you try, right? You still have a little bit. You get the feeling that you don't have roots there, and that maybe you're just passing through, you know? Now, it changes for different people. Some people go to an area and they develop roots and a network of friends, and some expats and some locals, and they have a great time. And that's the goal, really, I guess, is to develop those roots. But it takes a while.
Yes. And if you keep traveling like we've been doing, it creates a feeling of ready to settle, and you're always searching for something else.
A little bit of anxiety, like you're always looking for the next best thing when you're not living in the moment and enjoying what you're doing and going through the processes, no matter how laborious they can be at times.
So this could be a good thing and a bad thing. Your lifestyle change, especially if you're coming from the U.S. I want to say this was a positive thing. We, like, for example, right now we're, you know, creating a home, basically, or setting a home, and you do things with more purpose.
Yes.
Than when we were in the States.
Right.
I think we were more maybe wasteful.
Yes.
Here is more with a purpose. You don't want to be, you know,
you don't want to be wasteful. You don't want to be seen as those Americans that buy everything and live above their means, if that makes sense. I think
keeping up with the Joneses
thing.
I think it's not a thing here.
Yeah.
So it's different.
And nobody cares.
There's not that bragging sense.
You know, in the United States, we notice that when you have conversations with people, one of the first 3-4 things comes up in a conversation is, what do you do for a living? Here, it's not that important what you do. You know, they don't put that emphasis on how much money you make as far as the value you have. So I would say that's a good thing here in Europe.
So anyway, we just wanted to give you a little bit of insight, I guess, on these thoughts that we've been having about, you know, with all this move and stuff.
Right. And with the holidays and everything, and just a little bit of homesick on my part, you know, just dealing with things. I think it's something we should share with people, especially people who are thinking about moving abroad.
So we also wanted to thank you, because we just crossed the 1,000 subscribers, and it's woo!
We're on the way. Now we're just trying to build those hours up, you know.
But thank you for following, and thank you for, you know,
coming along on our journey with us. Yes. We're not professionals.
Yes. And thank you for watching. So we will bring you more content from Belgium.
Yeah. See you in the next one.